We're here with Jim Newton from Automobile Associates, and he does fine restorations on vehicles. Not so much like this Cayenne Turbo S here, but many of the more collectible vehicles. The market these days for Porsches, classic Porsches, have just gone through the roof. I know cars such as early 911s, 356s, cars that were probably in the teens and 20s 10 years ago are now fetching six figures. So for those on a mortal budget, say $25,000, what would you tell them is still available out there that you could get into and not get into trouble where a car is in such bad shape that you spend the 25, but you have to spend 75 to get it to be a car that you can enjoy? What's something that you can get at around $25,000 and enjoy it as is?
Well, it runs the gamut for cars in that price range. There's a fair number that are still available and usable. One of them would be at the very low end, would be the 914. Four-cylinder 914s produced from 70 to 73. There's a ton of them made. The car to find would be a well-maintained, not modified, not rusty car. Another possibility is a 912. Which up till very recently was a good one, was a $6,000 or $8,000 or $9,000 car. Now you find that they're nearing 30, but at 22 to 25, you should be able to find a very serviceable, nice 912, which is the same body, shape, style, and driving experience as the 911. You also have the underappreciated 74 to 77 2.7 cars, which have a problem in that they were the first of the short hood cars, and they pre-SC, and in comparison to an SC, they seem like less of a car. So they were overlooked for many years. But if you can find a rust-free, well-maintained, reasonably low mileage car for occasional driving, it should be purchasable for well under 25.
And I think you mentioned in your presentation these early 74 to 77s. 5 years ago, most people didn't even look at them. But as far as drivability, if you find a good original one, you said you can have just as much fun in those as you would, an SC or even a Carrera.
Well, the same basic layout, same bushing, same wheelbase, same suspension as an SC. Doesn't have as wide a rear tire, but incrementally smaller. The car has less power, so it doesn't need the bigger tires. And with the advent of modern rubber on tires, you can get a much better rubber than it was available in 74 to 77. And with the car with good bushings and well-maintained and good shocks, yeah, it'd be just as much for what you're really doing with the car. Just driving around to have a nice Sunday drive or a weekend drive. It's a supercar.
Well, and this is, what number Tech Tactics is this for you?
I don't know, maybe 30 something.
30-some Tech Tactics, and you've been in the Porsche business for?
Since, probably 35, 37 years, something like that.
A wealth of experience coming to Tech Tactics, a diehard for us. Always pulls in a great crowd with the presentations. Saw some very interesting cars that looked from the surface very good, but as soon as you got below the surface, found out there were a lot of problems. And again, much like the other video that we did today, having someone that is a professional, that knows a specific car that you're looking at is also important. When they have this kind of experience, they can often keep you from getting in trouble with a car. But for those that have mortal budgets for a classic Porsche, there still are cars out there.
Yep.
Thank you.
No problem.